You're listening to the Visibly Fit podcast. Hey, I'm your host, Wendie Pett, and every week I'll give you holistic, practical solutions for everyday issues related to nutrition, healing, functional fitness, and behavior modifications. As a naturopath, fitness expert, and wellness coach for over 20 years, my goal is to empower you to reach for greater health and to rise up to your next level of living in mind, body, and spirit. You were created with greatness in mind. It's time to own it. Are you with me? Then let's dive in. What if? What if you did the very thing you sought out to do? What if? How would your life be different? This is Visibly Fit, and I'm your host, Wendie Pett, and that's the question of the day. It might be the question of the year, or maybe the question for your life. What if? What if I just did it? Well, what if? What if you did? How would your life look? And what is the it that you would like to accomplish? And maybe you're not being intentional with your actions right now to get you to those goals. I want you to start thinking of your life a little bit different, because we all have opportunities to press in, to stretch ourselves, to grow, to become better human beings in all of our areas, whether it's health and wellness, maybe it's with relationships, with finances, with, whatever area in your life that you're looking to become better in. We can be better, but we have to push ourselves. Most of us are living in a very comfortable way. We have our little routines. It's nice and warm and fuzzy and cozy. And to step out of that, to do something different that might cause a little bit of pain in order to get the growth or to reach the goal that we desire, we choose to stay in the comfort zone. And that comfort zone is keeping us in a place of kind of sometimes being stagnant, right? And not fulfilling or just rising up to our full potential. And you may not even know what your potential is. I don't even know that I know what my potential is, but I continually push myself in different areas. And I try not to stay in too much of the comfort zone. I like it just as much as you do, just as much as most people do. Some people love to be outside their comfort zone, but the majority of people don't. And so I hear you. I hear you when you're like, yeah, I'd like to try this or try that. I'd like to climb that mountain or go deep sea diving or whatever the case may be, whatever extreme it is. But, fill in the blank. But I'm too old. But I've never done that before. But I'm out of shape. But I'm not equipped. Whatever it is, or but I don't have the money to do it. Whatever that excuse is, it's keeping you status quo. It's keeping you in your same humdrum life, if you will. I'm just going to say that, because if we're just constantly doing the same thing that we do every day, we are not becoming better. And so it doesn't have to be something really extreme. It can be something just as simple as taking, a 60-second to 3-minute cold shower, right? And get the cryotherapy kind of session that you can get in a shower. But even that, people are not willing to do a cold shower therapy. So that's not something that's real extreme, but yet it gets people out of their comfort zone. So why would you even do that? Because it helps your health, right? It helps stabilize hormone levels. It helps do all kinds of things for our body. But a lot of people are just mentally not willing to go there. And a lot of it is a mindset. My husband and I, we've been watching the series with Chris Hemsworth, the guy that plays Thor. Yes, he's easy to look at on the eyes, but that's okay. Todd knows it's okay. It's okay. Because he's got whatever her name is, Wonder Woman. I don't even know her name. So we each have our own person that we like that's easy on the eyes, but Thor is mine. So anyway, so we're watching this Limitless series, and we just finished it, but it's so well done. And he is really stretching himself. He is pushing the limits in different ways through strength, through holding his breath, through cold therapy, cold water plunges, through even, oh my goodness, he even goes through a whole acceptance kind of, I won't, you know, spoil it for you. I won't, there's no spoiler alert here because I don't want to tell you the whole thing, but he does go through this acceptance kind of series on aging and death and that kind of thing. And it's really fascinating to watch, but it's awesome because he's stretching himself. He is being intentional in order to reach this goal of what he has sought out to do for each individual show. And it's not just some small little feat. He's training with different people that have gone before him that have accomplished these types of outside their comfort zone of feats. They have actually already been there, done that, and so they are mentoring him and teaching him and training him, and he's doing the work. But it's taking major intentionality, major discipline, and it's not always fun. And so I share all that with you because I don't want you to have regrets ever. I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to one day say, gosh, woulda, coulda, shoulda, you know, and then look back on my life and say, gosh, why didn't I? I missed out. And it's never too late, I will say, unless you're, close to your deathbed, I guess I'll say. But I'm talking, it's never too late to go and strive in different ways that you've never thought possible before, where maybe physically you thought, gosh, I'm not equipped. I'm not in enough shape to go and climb that mountain. Well, this is your green light. This is your let's go moment to say, okay, I have a desire to go climb this mountain. So I'm going to start training today. And I think of my friend Pete, and I've shared this on this podcast before, but he released 100 pounds through the Visibly Fit program. And I had told him, I said, when you reach your goal or close to your goal, I will fly out to Oregon and I will come out and climb this mountain with you. He had a mountain that he wanted to climb that he hadn't climbed since he was like 17 years old. And he is closer to 70 at this point. And so he reached his goal and I flew out there and we climbed that mountain together. And it was amazing. It was such a cool experience, not just for me to be alongside of him and cheer him on and encourage him and actually see him, um, you know, reach this goal that he's had for so many years, but for him to feel just strong and for him to feel the confidence that he gained from accomplishing this mountain climb that could have just been a what if I would have done that, but instead it was what if I do this, how will my life change? And it did change his life because again, he released 100 pounds, he got strong, he got confident, and he climbed that mountain and he showed up in relationships differently. In fact, not too long after the climb, he met a woman, he got married. I mean, like it changes your life. I know it's like, okay, really, you're going to pinpoint that to a mountain climb, but yes, I am, because when you start to show up in a way that your confidence is different, people see you differently, and you show up in the world with a different attitude, right? You have a different mindset, a different attitude. People are encouraged by you. And you start to say, oh gosh, okay, this is my imprint that I'm making in the world now. It's not my past. It's not how I used to be. It's not my decisions and my choices from the past. It's what I choose today. And it's what I'm choosing in the future for my life, from this day moving forward. And so it can be you. So if you have this mountain climbing goal, then go do it. Go do it. Hey, I'll fly out. I'll come climb it with you. I'd love to. In fact, I actually just got back from a climb. I went out to visit my son in Colorado, and I was like, yeah, let's just go for a quick little hike. Well, this quick little hike was quickly elevated. I think it was like a 1400, 1500 feet elevation, like quickly, like in a nanosecond. Say that, but not a nanosecond. It was like, a mile and a half, 2 miles, but it was just seriously, heart pumping, thigh burning, and it was awesome. I loved it. Lots of boulder climbing, and it was kind of outside of my comfort zone because it was the snow had melted, so it was muddy, it was wet, and we had to, go over a bunch of boulders, but man, it was just fun and I loved it. So that was a little bit different climb, um, than what I do with my husband at times, but it was fun. And it really was a good bonding experience with my son and I. So I'm glad I did it. I did it. And I don't have a regret of, oh, you know what? That's too hard. I don't want to do it. Instead, we just went for it. And I'm glad like I said, I'm glad I did. And we had a great lunch at the top of the mountain. And yeah, good bonding mother son moment. But I also think of other stories of people. I mean, we know all kinds of stories of famous people, right? That have been intentional with their efforts, from Michael Jordan to, oh, what's the gal that is the surfer that, unfortunately, she had a shark attack, but the shark attack didn't stop her. She lost her arm. I can't think of her name, but anyway, she's a surfer and she keeps surfing. And I just think of how we could be limited with certain situations that come up in our life if we have the mindset of, oh, I guess I just can't, because like this gal, I don't know why I can't think of her name. Someone's going to have to, oh, type in, if you're watching this on YouTube or whatever, or on social media, and tell me her name, because it's not coming to me. But anyway, she's amazing. And yeah, it's like, okay, there's no limitations. Like, don't let something stop you, because it's really our mind that keeps us limited, right? So I think of a gal that I worked with too. Her name was Pam, and she released 100 pounds as well. And she did a 3-day um, uh, 3-day walk for Susan G. Komen breast cancer walk, right? Like, that's 60 miles. It's like 20 miles a day. It's a big walk for someone who hasn't done that before. And I mean, it's a big walk anyway, but you sleep in tents, and it's not like you get a lot of rest, and you get blisters and all kinds of things if you don't train properly or have the right shoes. And anyway, hundreds of women come out and do that. And I get the privilege and the honor of walking this event with her, and to see her cross the finish line, you guys, with tears running down her face. I mean, it's priceless to see the level of joy, and when someone accomplishes something that they intentionally set out to do, how it changes their life. Really, from that moment on, her life has really been different. She's made healthy choices. Is it healthy all the time? I don't know. I'm not with her all the time, but I'll tell you, it's more often than not. She's living well. She's active, and it really was because she was intentional about getting healthy and being disciplined in her food choices and in her activity, and then being intentional and training for this 3-day race. But again, crossing over that finish line and seeing the joy on her face, and the tears come down her cheeks, was just like priceless. So, what is it in your life that you're like, you know what? I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to I don't know, I don't care if it's a 5K or maybe it's a marathon. Maybe you want to do an ultra run. Not me, but maybe you do. But whatever it is for you, maybe you want to go skydiving. That's fun. Todd and I did that years ago. That's amazing. Maybe you want to go, do deep sea diving, and you're afraid because maybe you've had claustrophobia and you think, oh, I could never do that. But what if you can? Can you imagine what you can see in the ocean and the experience that you would have? I've gone deep sea diving once in Costa Rica, and it's amazing. Like, I need to go again, honestly, because it's that cool. So if you've ever had that on your mind and on your heart to do it. Don't let anything stop you. Start training and be intentional with every decision and every step that you make. Okay. Because really, I think so often we are wasting time. We are time wasters. If I'm going to just throw a little blanket statement out there, most people are time wasters. They're wasting time with television or social media, or just, I don't know, Candy Crush. I don't play Candy Crush, but I know a lot of people that do. Just wasting time. What can you do with the time that you're wasting, and instead start preparing and being intentional and taking intentional steps toward that. What if I really did that thing in my life? How would my life change? What if you met that goal? What if you set out today and started making a plan and you start pinning yourself in to your calendar? The ladies that I coach and train, every week I have them state their intentions, because if you are not stating your intentions, then your week becomes really loosey goosey. You're not being held accountable. You're not even setting the tone for your week. Now, we do it weekly, but I definitely recommend that you do it even daily. Like, what intentional steps are you doing daily? And pin yourself in to your calendar every day. So, what is it that you want to do? What's on your vision board? What's on your heart? Maybe you've never done a vision board. What's on your heart that just really doesn't seem to want to, you don't want to let go of it? Like, I don't care. Maybe it's painting something. Maybe, I don't know what it is for you, but there's got to be something out there. Maybe it's learning a new language. There's got to be something that you have a desire to do that you haven't done, and there's some sort of limiting belief that's keeping you from doing it. So think about, what is that right now? What is it? What's the first thing that comes to mind? You know what it is. All right. Maybe even say it out loud. Yeah. And when you get to a place, maybe hopefully you're not driving or whatever, but if you're at a desk or if you're at home and you can grab a piece of pen and paper, write it down. Write down that goal and write down a date next to that goal when you want to accomplish that goal. Now, depending on how big this goal is, be realistic about it, right? Like, you don't want to run a marathon and I'm going to do it next week. No, you got to have enough time to train and to prepare. So how would that look for you based on whatever that goal is, that would match your what if? What if I actually did this? How would your life look? And it's not just about how would your life look, how would it affect those around you? How would you show up differently in the world? So go ahead, again, write down that goal or that thing that is really on your heart that you would love to accomplish, and then have that due date, if you will, next to it. And then underneath that goal, I want you to start writing out, step by step. Okay, this is the first thing that I'll do on this particular date and time. So you got to time stamp it, right? And then put that on your calendar, whether it's on your cell phone calendar, or if you just use a normal calendar that you write on. Just start writing in the steps that you're going to take, whether it's daily or weekly, and then ultimately monthly, to reach your goal, and stick with it. Okay. So we can write it down. Remember, you're pinning it in. Okay. It's on permanent marker. You're using permanent marker. You can't erase it. So don't let anything, swoop in and take the spot that is yours on that calendar. Okay. Healthy boundaries, because that's the only way you're going to get to your goals. And that's the discipline that has to be in place in order to achieve it. So again, I just want you to think about the what ifs. Again, I'm going to go back to the Chris Hemsworth show, Limitless, and his experience, had he not done all of these different goals that he set out to do, I don't know. Would he have regrets? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what his full on desires of his heart is, but what I will say is that he doesn't have regrets because he did it, because he's actually seeing the world in a new way. He's seeing that he can do more than he ever thought he could do. And mind you, he's Thor. I mean, he can do a lot already, but he can do so much more. And I think that that's what we all need to start thinking about, is that what is your next level of living? What is your next level of fitness? What is your next level financially? What is your next level for a relationship? How can you be intentional with a certain relationship, whether it's your best friend or maybe it's a pen pal, maybe it's your children, maybe it's your parents, an aunt, uncle, whatever, niece, nephew. How can you be more intentional with those relationships to make it better, take it to that next level? How can you maybe, plan for like a date time? Maybe it's a I don't know, father daughter date or whatever it is. But you plan that time and you protect it. That's leveling up in a relationship because it shows that there's value in that particular person. It shows that there's value in that particular experience, and it shows that there's value with yourself, right? A lot of times we put, I've shared this before, but we put all of our energy and effort into everybody else and what they want to do. But what about you? What about what is on your heart? Because that matters. Now I know that there's times where you can come together with someone that you have some similar core values with and do things together. And that's awesome. Like that's really cool. But you may have something individually that you want to do as well. Go for it. Because life is meant to be lived and it's meant to be lived well. And you are unique. You have a fingerprint that only you have, right? We all have a unique fingerprint. And I think that is miraculous within itself. But we have a unique fingerprint in this life itself with our gifts and our talents. And so if you are not using those gifts and talents well, how much, I don't know, I guess, what a shame, I guess is what I would say, because I think it really, it leaves your fingerprint, if I will, off this world. You're not putting your print in this world like you were created to do, if that's making sense, because you can only bring to the table what you can bring. Somebody else may have a spin on it, may have a different way of doing things, but it's not the way that you could do it. And so you are valuable, you are worthy. And so what is your limiting belief? What is your limiting situation? Whether it's financial, whether it's your health, maybe you got to get that in check first so that you can fulfill and pursue that desire and use your gifts and talents fully. What is it? Because your what if matters. It matters not only to you, but it matters to me, and it matters to the rest of this world. So what if you don't accomplish what you were set out to accomplish? Then I think that we will all be affected. So either way, we're going to be affected, right? But we want to be affected for the good that you bring into the world with your uniqueness and with your unique fingerprint. So that's the message today, is to just encourage you and to hopefully inspire and motivate you to take your what if question, like what if I could really do that, and what if you actually did it? How would your life change? So noodle on that for a little bit, but do something about it, because you matter and your life matters. And we all want to partake in this world together, because it's a much beautiful place, much more beautiful place than it already is, when we are co-creating and making some divine creativity all together. It's harmonious. So, all right. Bless you. And if you have a desire to get into a better health space, then that's my jam. That's my jam. So give me a call or email me, and we will set up a call. I guess you can't just give me a call, because I'm not going to give you my cell phone number on the air, but you can email me and we will set up a call, and let's just have a conversation. Let's see if it's a good fit for you. But would love to introduce you to the Visibly Fit program and get you onto a program that works so that you can reach those desired goals and fulfill them through and through. So go to wendiepett.com and let's set up a time to talk and get you into your best, healthiest self. All right. All right. God bless you. And we'll catch you next time right here on Visibly Fit. Take care. Well, that's a wrap for today's show. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love spending this time with you. To learn more and get more free resources, just head on over to wendiepett.com. And thank you in advance for sharing this episode and this podcast, following and subscribing, not only to this podcast, but finding me on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, I'm probably there too. Until next week and our next podcast time together, make it a visibly fit day.